Well, hi folks. Do you see these two escaped convicts? They are on the wrong side of the fence. I don't think it's worth it to try and tell the convicts to go back where they belong, because they'll just run around like a bunch of knuckleheads. Well, it's a good thing today's a hay video, so I can talk to you and explain some of these things, like why convicts will escape and come eat my round bales. It's because they can, and they're cute. So what I need to do today is I'm going to attempt to rake some of this stuff up here and get this into a better pile. So the problem with leaving it like this is this is a huge thatch that is never going to break down in a year or 2 years. It might even take 3 years to fully break down. So I need to get this piled up so the cows eat more of it. They're already pooping in it, so they're already not going to want to eat a bunch of it. But if I don't do anything with it, it'll just be a giant disaster this year, because this is going to be a main alleyway for the cows, especially once the corn gets taken out. So the reason I'm even concerned with this is 2 or 3 years ago, I have left things like this over summer, over winter, over spring, 2-3 years ago, and I still don't have good grass growth. So I don't know if you guys get a really good shot at it, but it's probably a foot thick. I mean, it comes all the way down here. I was not feeding a round bale all the way down here. So a lot of you may say, oh, that's great. That's fertilizer, that's this, that's that. It's only fertilizer once it breaks down. Until it breaks down, it's a thatch layer that won't allow anything to grow underneath of it. And you have to spread seed out on top, which then is an extra cost and holistically may not make sense. Now you may say holistically, well, using a rake to rake it all up doesn't make any sense. Well, that's true. If I charge myself my time, let's just say I think I'm worth $20 an hour. This takes me an hour, that's 20 bucks. How much is a round bale? 40 bucks, 50 bucks, 60 bucks? I don't think I'm gonna get that much return on my investment. I'm not gonna get an ROI on it, but I'm sure gonna see the benefits of doing it, even if it means I'll see the benefits next year. Do you guys see that? What was he doing? I hope you guys saw that. That was hilarious. So let's get some of this stuff raked up here, why don't we? Well, I wasn't at that very long. That's a lot of work. When I was having these issues in years prior, well, this excess hay, I asked a group of grazers about getting a rake, a hay rake. So normally, guys have hay rakes because they do their own hay. I don't. I have a neighbor do my hay, so I don't own a rake. I asked about it. The gentleman who I trusted and got the answer from said, don't worry about a rake, make your cows eat it. Well, there's a lot of stuff that now is on the ground and rotten, so they're not going to eat that. They've pooped in some of it, so they're not going to eat that. They're continuously walking over it, so that's not helping. But yes, a tractor-powered hay rake would be way better. I could start up there, even if it was, it would have to be like a PTO powered thing. Start up there, throw everything over, and then it's at least in a line, right? So that would be way easier than using this rake, and less tiring than using this rake. I wasn't even at it but maybe 10, 20 minutes, so it's not even like I was out here for an hour, 2 hours or anything crazy. So that's why I say it can be done easier. I just don't have the easier way. But that's why I want to get into some of this stuff. I've seen in fall time is a perfect time to buy, because a lot of folks are getting rid of stuff they bought new this year, kept onto their old stuff to make sure they liked the new, and then ended up selling it because they liked it, or ended up selling the new stuff because they didn't like it, whatever the case is. So you can usually find good deals on rakes and stuff. But I don't normally get this dry time. Like right now, if this was a wet time of year, or if we actually had rain, I wouldn't have been able to do all that. It would have been pushed into the dirt, into the mud. There wouldn't have been any way for me to get any of that out of there. It would have been impossible to rake that up. Now, they're not going to eat all of that anyhow because there's poop in it, which is why you go with something like a bale ring like this. Once they poop in it, they won't touch it, and it's smart. It's a way for animals to keep healthy, a way for animals to not get diseases. So that's why you put a ring on it like this. If you put the bale ring in here, it keeps cows from walking on it, or at least the big cows. Baby cows can go right in there. But it keeps big cows from walking on it, and it allows you to get it eaten down. I usually eat it down to one of these 2 rings in between there. Especially if they have the 2 feeders, I will make them eat one completely down before I even open up another one. Well, if I have the 2 feeders, I will do that. If there's only the 1 feed ring, I will open it and then give them a new one before they're completely out. But so I use these. A lot of folks don't. A lot of folks just bale graze. A lot of folks unroll. When you unroll, you still get this. I don't care what these folks say. I unrolled for a year and I still got this left over. Yes, it's fertilizer, but again, if it's too thick, then it doesn't allow soil, or doesn't allow spring growth. If it's too thin, your cows are extra hungry and you might start losing body condition. So it's a challenge to get it just right. So that's what I mean. There's these things where it's very complicated to get exactly perfect utilization of the hay bale for the grasses, for the soils, for the cows. It's a very tough thing. That's why most farmers say, am I going to help the land? Am I going to help the cows, or am I going to help the pocketbook this year? I know a lot of folks in the grazing community will say that if they're helping the land, the cows and the pocketbook are going to hurt. If they're helping the pocketbook, the cows and the land are going to hurt. If they're helping the cows, the pocketbook and the land are going to hurt. It's that old saying, you can get good and fast service, but it won't be cheap. You can get fast and cheap service, but it won't be good. And I think you get the last point. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this disaster of an idea that is now being completely undone by every single cow I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one.